What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kylan, aka Harlan the Goat, and today I am reviewing Doll Parts, issue number 1, straight out of Image Comics. Now, before we go ahead and get into this, I do want to put the disclaimer at the beginning of the video. I put a warning up about some of the topics and the things that are going to be discussed that take place in this book, and I might talk about here in this review. If you suffer or you have any kind of trauma, PTSD from any of those kind of things, whether being talked about or shown, this is not the video for you, nor is this the comic book you should be picking up. If you're okay with reading about those things or something touching on those things, then go ahead and be my guest and go ahead and pick it up, because it is a very interesting, very well written and drawn, beautifully drawn story. But then again, like I said, do it at your own risk. But now that is out of the way, man, let me talk to y'all for a minute, man. Miss Luann. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and throw up the image on either side of me of the cover, so I can go ahead and check it out, because this light in that camera is not doing it justice. I'm going to try and go ahead, and that's the name of the author. It's a little shaky. We don't worry about that. But listen, man. This is a crazy read. I don't want to say it was a rough read, but it was very uncomfortable. At least for me, it was uncomfortable because, one, I've never had to deal with any of the topics, thankfully, that take place in this book at all. This is crazy, okay? And all this takes place when the main character, by the way, her name is Madeline, is 12 years old. She's 12 years old in this first issue. And I'm going to go ahead and give y'all like a quick kind of rundown of what the story's about, at least this first issue is about. Now, it's a 12-year-old girl. Her name is Madeline, and now she is starting to become a young woman, which they talk about and show in this first issue. She's become a young woman. She's hit that puberty stage now, and she's starting to notice the evils and the monsters in this world. And I'm not talking about no ghouls and goblins under your bed. I'm talking about pedophiles. Like kidnappers, rapists, all that. It's in this book. You see it. There is no blurred. There is no nothing. You see it. That's what you have to deal with. And also, while dealing with the task of not becoming her mother and trying to win her mother's approval or get that kind of connection to her mother that she hasn't gotten in pretty much ever in her lifetime. So, yeah, that's kind of what this first issue is about. Now, I don't want to go too far deep into it, just in case you do want to go ahead and pick this book up for yourself, and you want to get that wild shock factor, because there are a lot of those in here. Now, one of the other things that goes on with this is I don't know what kind of genre this is, right? So, just based off of the notes I took that I'm looking at right here, this kind of is in like I don't want to say true crime, but like a true crime, but from a bystanders or some potential victims' eyes, along with a bit of a thriller mystery kind of thing, also a coming of age kind of story. It's a lot of different genres mixed into one. It feels very real life. You get that uneasy feeling while reading this, but it is such a beautifully drawn, illustrated book. And again, it's drawn, colors, lettering, inking, all of that is done by one person. I'm gonna go ahead and try my best to throw up 1 or 2 images showing you what the inside of this book looks like without spoiling anything. But yeah, man, the art is one thing that caught me by surprise, and I think that's why I picked it up off the shelf. Of course, not knowing exactly what it was about, but the art is absolutely wonderful. Like the illustrations of the characters mixed in with the color palette. The color palette, it feels warm. You know what I'm saying? It's warm, like with like a little neutral kind of colors to this. You know, regular colors you can see in any other comic book, but it just feels different with this art style. Also, everything just flows very well. It feels very consistent art wise throughout this book. And if you know me from TikTok, you know I always talk about art when it comes to comic books. And this is up there for me as of like at the end of 2024. Some of the best art I've seen is in this book. I really, really enjoy how the story itself and the visuals that goes along with it, they just feel like they were meant to be. And it's probably because it was all done by one person. It really is a great imagery and maybe not great imagery, great illustration and storytelling at its finest. Like that's a masterclass of the two put together in one. Now the story. Whew, this story is rough. I kind of gave y'all a little bit of what the story was about when I was giving you like the little synopsis or summary of it, but man, it is rough from the beginning to the end. And I feel like this is maybe not just a little girl kind of thing, but I feel like a thing for people. When you hit that puberty stage, you start to want to be your own person. Not really get the approval of your parents too much, but also you want them to take an interest in what you want to do or what you are doing, different stuff like that. You start to become your own person at that point. You're starting to get a lot of influences, different people in your ears saying, hey, you don't have to do this or you have to do this and you have to become that, that kind of thing. That's what kind of goes on here in this story, along with the coming of age kind of thing. We have to learn that now you're seeing the world for what it was or for what it truly is, full of evil in the world and monsters, which she very, very fastly finds out about. One from her mother just being so nasty, and the only time she ever talks, really talks, is to bring another woman or any women down. And that's another big thing. If you don't like other women bring other women down, this is not the issue for you. Because her mama brings down one of the other moms in the, kind of in the town neighborhood. Her daughter and Madeline go to a ballet and sing school. They are friends, and the friend's mom she's cool. She's fun. She's not too crazy. She doesn't care what other people think about her because she is a very voluptuous woman that Madeline mother just hates. She just hates it. And throughout this story, you get to see how the influences start to pick up. You know what I'm saying? How she knows that her mother's wrong for saying what she's saying and thinking how she's thinking about this woman who's done nothing to her but be nice as soon as whenever they interact or whatever. And we really start to see how her mother and her father really think and feel about their daughter within this first issue. Then you get in the aspect of the older girls, the bullies, and the body image stuff where, in ballet, and this is a thing that happens in real life, but in this book, they start to mess with the body image look to where now Madeline, she's worrying about hey, if I don't eat at all or skip breakfast or different stuff like that, I'll be small and I get to stay a kid and I have to worry about the evils and her mom hating her for being developed or worrying about getting kidnapped and raped by these pedos out there. She thinks if she doesn't do any of that, then hey, she can stay a kid forever. That's her goal in the first half of this book. And we soon later come to realize that, hey, that might be worth it. But at the same time, it's that fear of worrying about, am I going to be okay? I'm going to make it. Will anyone care if I do get kidnapped or killed or anything happens to me? That's what she starts to deal with in this story. And again, the most of the things about trying to combat that evil and the influences, the monsters in the world, And I think the way that this story is told, although it does not pull its punches, it gets you there. It gets to its point. And I feel like if you just pick up this first issue and never touch it again, great story. It's a great message to not just, at this point, not even just little girls, but young children in the first place. This is not a book for kids. Don't get that twisted. This is not a book for kids, but the message is dope. It's just the way it goes about it. It's real, raw, and if you can't take it, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? No, but yeah, the story's dope. The story actually, it kept me on my toes. It really kept me on my toes because what really just took a 180 was when one of the older girls in her ballet class is murdered. She was raped, assaulted, and murdered. And then, spoiler alert, left in a body bag on the path that Madeline takes to school and her ballet class. Madeline comes across it, doesn't think much of it because, she sees it's a bag. Like, okay. And when the arm comes out, that's been like the wrists have been slit, the arm is out, she runs. And now she's thinking about that. And then when she has to walk back and forth to school in a snowstorm, she starts to think about, man, what happens if I get got? Then there's an incident with a guy in a white van that pulls up, asking for directions. That was a big shock to me. I'm not even going to say what it is, but yo, it is absolutely insane. But again, it kept me on my toes. It kept me wondering, oh snap, what's going to happen? Like, what's next? And I feel like when it comes to comic books, that's what I'm looking for nowadays. The superhero stories, Spider-Man, your X-Men, I'm always going to love those no matter what, but I do want something that's going to keep me on my toes, that's maybe going to, oh snap, or laugh out loud, cry out loud, make me feel different things than just the rush I get from reading a superhero comic book. And this book really does hit the mark. One of the other things that it does, it does its job at making you feel uncomfortable. Now, I don't know if that was the sole purpose or that was the intent to do, but it makes you feel uncomfortable. It does. It also makes you start to look at things different, not only in this world, in this book, but in the real world. It's like, yo, people are sick. It's an evil, cruel world out there, man, and it just excels. It excels at that. Now, for this to be a book I just pick up off the shelf, after reading this, I thought to myself, yeah, I might not pick up the issue 2, but now I gotta figure out what's gonna happen now. I'm like, now I'm invested. I gotta see if they gonna catch the pedo. Or, what's going to happen next in this? I don't know if she gets any powers or anything. It doesn't feel like that type of comic or type of story or arc. But after reading a little bit of the little sneak peek of this is what's going to happen next issue kind of stuff, it has me thinking, where are we going to go with this story? And when a book does that, that's how you know it's got you. It's caught your attention. You are captivated. And I am very much captivated in this story. I am invested in this story now. So if I would have had to rate it, and it's not about the ratings here, but if I had to rate it out of like 10, this is a solid 9. This is a solid 9 out of 10. Not 10 out of 10 because it was crazy. It was crazy. But it was a solid 9 out of 10. I didn't really have too much of a connection to these issues or problems, but I feel like anybody who did and you were able to finish this book, you might give it a 10 out of 10. But yeah, man, it's dope. Now, again, I don't recommend it if you suffer from any of the themes or have problem with any of the themes that go on in this book. But if you're somebody who can get past that and just take it for what it is as the story, then I highly, highly recommend you go ahead and read this book. again, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to make you feel like, man, okay, what's going to happen now? The mystery of it all is really, really dope. And again, the art is dope. Everything about this book is dope. But just be careful. Watch your mental health. Watch everything before you go pick this up. So yes, this will be going on my pull list for the rest of this series. I don't know how many issues it's going to be running, but this is going on the pull list. I am invested in this now. If you have read this book without, I guess don't give too many spoilers about like certain things that happen, but let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on this book? Because I truly want to know people's thoughts on this book. I really, really do. So let me know down in the comments below. And do me a favor, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a brand new video. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.